Hi there. We're continuing with Luke, and we're in the 6th chapter. And in this particular episode, it kind of continues on from the previous episode, in that we see Jesus doing what the scribes and the Pharisees would call work on the Sabbath. And they're looking for ways to accuse him. And Jesus, by what he chooses to do on the Sabbath, shows us the proper place of the Sabbath, and indeed all rules and traditions in the lives of Christian people of faith. So here we go. Luke chapter 6, verses 6 through 11. On another Sabbath, Jesus entered the synagogue and was teaching. And a man was there whose right hand was withered. And the scribes and the Pharisees watched Jesus heal on the Sabbath, so that they might find a reason to accuse him. But Jesus knew their thoughts. And he said to the man with the withered hand, "Come and stand here." And the man rose and stood there. And Jesus said to them, "I ask you, is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do harm, to save life or to destroy it?" After looking around at them all, he said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." And as the man did so, his hand was restored. But they were filled with fury and discussed with one another what they might do to Jesus. So here we have, well actually, if we look closely, we have instances of Jesus keeping religious traditions and breaking religious traditions. First of all, we see that he is in the synagogue teaching, and we're told earlier that this was Jesus' habit, that he was in the habit of going to the synagogue every Sabbath as a participant in the synagogue services, and obviously he would teach. And so he kept those traditions. But he didn't keep them as things that were his masters. He kept them as traditions that served him as a person walking on earth. And the rules surrounding the Sabbath had become so harsh that they had superseded love for one's fellow man as the primary thing. The primary thing had become the rules, not the love and the desire to be close to God that was the driving force behind the rules. And so here Jesus once again chooses directly in the face of the religious leaders to not obey the rules, to openly disobey the rule. But he does it in a way that is bringing healing to somebody, and they are, of course, very furious in the end. I don't know if you've ever had anger just suddenly well up in you, but often if you find anger suddenly welling up in you, and just suddenly you're furious about something, you should stop and take a step back and see why that is. Now, sometimes it's real and it's justifiable, righteous anger. Somebody comes speeding through your neighborhood at like 45 miles an hour. You are justifiably angry at that because they're putting people in danger. But if somebody says something or is teaching something and you feel fury and rage rise inside you, I suggest you look inside to find where that rage is coming from. But because it's possible that they've hit some sort of button that is a conflict in you. And these Pharisees, there's a conflict there because they certainly can't call it a bad thing to have a man have his hand healed that was useless before, and yet Jesus is breaking the Sabbath, and so they're filled with fury. So once again, also, beside that point about the fury, we see that the rules are there for us. They're not to be disregarded haphazardly or capriciously, willy-nilly, just because we don't feel like them. That's not the way to disregard traditions and the pattern of religious life, of the life of faith. But whenever we come in a crossroads where the traditions take us one place and acting in love would take us another place, we act in love and disregard the traditions, because the traditions are there to serve us, not to be our masters. Paul said at the end there's faith, hope, and love, and the greatest thing is love. The Bible even says God is love. And so that's how you can figure out whether or not this is a time to disregard the traditions and the patterns and the habits that make up a normal life of faith. Is if they go one direction and love goes another, always choose the direction of love. Have a great day.